So antennas and propagation. We'll see the antennas and propagation today. So an antenna is what? It is an electrical conductor or a system of conductors. So in this antenna you have transmission and reception. So transmission, it radiates electromagnetic energy into space, and reception, it collects the electromagnetic energy from space. So in two-way communication, the same antenna can be used for transmission also and for reception also. What about the radiation patterns? The radiation patterns, the graphical representation of a radiation properties of an antenna is radiation pattern, and this is depicted as two-dimensional cross section. For this antenna, it can be like this, it can be like this. So there can be various radiation pattern, and also we have beam width, which is half power beam width. We call it as half power beam width. So this is a measure of directivity of antenna. Directivity means what the direction or directionality means how much the antenna is able to send the energy in a particular direction. This is the measure of directivity of the antenna. Then the reception pattern. What is the reception pattern? Receiving antennas equivalent to radiation pattern. This is reception pattern. So how many types of antennas can be? We have isotropic antenna. This is an ideal antenna. This means if you have antenna here, it transmits in omnidirection, means it radiates power equally in all directions. So if you come to this point and this point, they both have this similar power likewise. So radiates power equally in all directions. Then we have dipole antennas. In this we have two type of antennas, Hertz antenna and Marconi antenna. In dipole antenna, half wave dipole antenna, also known as Hertz antenna, and quarter wave vertical antenna, which is the Marconi antenna. We also have parabolic reflective antenna, as you might have seen in your TV and radio station. So these are parabolic reflective antennas. What is antenna gain? What gain is associated with an antenna? See the power output. If this is an antenna, and it can radiate the power in any direction. But what if it is capable of sending or radiating in a particular direction? So the power output in a particular direction compared to that produced in any direction by a perfect omnidirectional antenna, that is isotropic antenna. The power at certain direction divided by power which is by isotropic antenna. So this is the antenna gain. What is the effective area? This physical property it is. So related to physical size and shape of the antenna, this is effective area. This is the expression of antenna gain. The relationship between antenna gain and effective area is given by this expression. G is the antenna gain. This is 4 pi AE by lambda square. G is equal to 4 pi AE by lambda square. Where this 4 pi, these are constants. AE is the effective area. AE is the effective area, and lambda is nothing but the carrier wavelength. And if we can represent lambda in terms of frequency, it will be like this: 4 pi f square AE by c square. F is the frequency. The propagation modes for an antenna can be of three types: ground waves, like these waves which follow ground; sky waves, like this; and then line of sight, this kind of waves. So ground wave propagation, as I said, ground wave follows the ground earth curvature. This is a transmit antenna. This is the signal which is being propagated and received antenna. It follows the contour of the earth or the curvature of the earth, and it can propagate to considerable distances. Ground wave propagation. The frequencies are up to 2 megahertz. And for the example is amplitude modulated radio AM station, you might have heard in your radio. This is sky wave propagation. It uses the atmospheric properties like this. Through ionosphere it can come back, then it can go back again. Again, considerable distances can be achieved through sky wave propagation. So signal reflected from ionized layer of atmosphere back down to earth. So signal can travel a number of hops, like we just saw in the figure, back and forth between ionosphere and the earth surface, and reflection effect caused by the refraction. Examples are amateur radio and CB radio. This is skywave propagation. Then line of sight. They both are at line of sight. So this is signal propagation. And in the line of sight, the transmitting and receiving antenna must be within line of sight. It is not exactly, it should see other, but virtually they should see each other. So satellite communication, ground communication can be. Satellite communication signal about 30 megahertz, which are not reflected by ionosphere. We use line of sight propagation. And then ground communication, antennas within effective line of sight due to the reflection. The refraction is important because, as I said, viewing is just virtual. If they are seeing each other at shorter distance, it is okay. But if they are at longer distance, they are not able to see properly. That is, virtual seeing should be there. That is only possible through refraction. So, bending of microwaves by the atmosphere. Velocity of electromagnetic wave is a function of the density of the medium. Velocity. So, when wave changes medium, the speed would change, and wave bends at the boundary between these mediums. This is called refraction at the atmosphere. These are line of sight equations. Optical line of sight is d is equal to 3.57 under root h, or effective radio line of sight is given by 3.57 under root kh. So d is the distance between the antenna and the horizon, which is, this is the antenna and this is the horizon. Means the nearest hurdle that it is going to cross, or that will stop the communication. This is the h. D is the distance between antenna and horizon, this one, and h is the antenna height, and k is the adjustment factor to account for refraction, and we take it as 4 by 3. The maximum distance between two antennas for line of sight propagation, if two antennas needs to communicate through line of sight propagation, it will be 3.57 under root k h1 height of antenna 1 plus under root k h2 height of antenna 2. What about the line of sight wireless transmission impairments? So while you are transferring through line of sight wireless transmission, then there may be impairments, or hurdles, or problems, or losses. So attenuation and attenuational distortion is there, free space loss, noise is there, atmospheric absorption, multipath, refraction, and thermal noise. First we'll see the attenuation. See the signal which is sent, after some time the strength of the signal falls off with distance over transmission medium. So signals gets degenerated. So attenuation factors for unguided media, that means the air. The received signal must have sufficient strength so that circuitry in this receiver can interpret the signal. We receive that signal, and there is a property in the receiving signal, that is receiver sensitivity. That should be there so that the received signal can be interpreted properly. And signal must maintain a level sufficiently higher than the noise to be received without error. So signal to noise ratio is an important factor. It should be high as possible. And attenuation is greater at higher frequency. High frequency, greater attenuation. Long frequency, low this attenuation. So this may cause certain distortions. What about free space loss? Free space loss for ideal isotropic antenna is given by Pt by Pr. Pt is the signal power at transmitting antenna. Pr is the signal power at receiving antenna. And this is given by 4 pi d whole square by lambda square. Lambda is wavelength, d is the propagation between two antennas, speed of light 3 into 10 to the power 8. So d and lambda are in the same units, that is in meters. What about free space loss? This free space loss is for ideal isotropic antenna, and this is the free space loss which can be recasted as 10 log in the terms of decibel. Decibel is what? It is also a representation. It is not a unit, but it is the power levels. Two power levels, the ratio of two power levels. It can be represented in the form of 10 log, and this is base 10. So Pt by Pr, that is 4 pi d by lambda to the power squared. 2 goes here, so it becomes 20. And you know the property of log, so it becomes 20 log f plus 20 log d minus 147.56 dB. So in this free space loss, the free space loss accounting for gain of other antennas, this is given by Pt by Pr again, and we'll replace the values here. Gt is the gain of the transmitting antenna, Gr is the gain of receiving antenna. We know by now what is the formula of gain. And At and Ar are the effective area of transmitting antenna and receiving antenna. So free space loss for free space loss accounting for the gain of the other antenna. Now they can be recasted by taking similar dB functionality or dB relationship converting into dB. So it will be this expression. Then categories of noise. There can be various noise like thermal noise, intermodulation noise, crosstalk. It can be impulse noise. So thermal noise is what? Thermal noise is due to the agitation of electrons. You will always find it in your gadget. So it is present in all electronic devices and transmission media. It cannot be eliminated. It will always be there because the temperature. It is a function of temperature. As temperature rise, the electrons gets agitated and thermal noise is produced. So particularly significant for satellite communication, thermal noises. And thermal noise has a very unique formula. It's very easy. This N0 is given by kT. The amount of thermal noise to be found in a bandwidth, say, of 1 Hertz in any device or conductor is given by N0 is equal to kT. And this is watt per Hertz. N0 is the noise power density in watts per Hertz of bandwidth. K is the Boltzmann constant, which is given by 1.3803 into 10 to the power minus 23 joule per Kelvin. And the T is the temperature, of course, T in Kelvin. So thermal noise, which is given by n is equal to KTB, the noise is assumed to be independent of frequency. The thermal noise present in, say, the bandwidth of B hertz. We have taken 1 hertz in the previous case. Now if it is B hertz, it can be easily converted in decibel watts, and just take the log and the expression will be like this. Again, K is the Boltzmann constant, is temperature in Kelvin, B is the bandwidth in hertz. So you get this in decibel watts here. What about noise terminology? We have intermodulation noise. How it is created? This intermodulation noise, it occurs if signals with different frequency, say one frequency, other frequency, they share the same medium. If they share the same medium, there will be intermodulation noise. So interference caused by signal produced at frequency, that is the sum or the difference of the original frequency. Then we have crosstalk, unwanted coupling between signal paths. Then impulse noise, irregular pulse or spikes, so short duration and of relatively high amplitude, these impulse noise are there. And these are caused by external electromagnetic disturbances or faults and flaws in the communication system. And expression is EB by N0. So what is EB by N0? The ratio of signal energy per bit, signal energy E per bit to noise power density per hertz. EB by N0 can easily be given by EB is nothing but the S by R. So S by KTR, the bit error rate of digital data is a function of EB by N0. The bit error rate of digital signal is a function of EB by N0. And given a value for this EB by N0 to achieve a desired error rate, the parameters of this formula can be selected. And as bit rate R, capital R increases, the transmitted signal power must increase to maintain the required EB by N0. There are other impairments also, like atmospheric absorption, water vapor and oxygen are also there to contribute to attenuation. The multipaths, obstacle reflect signals so that multiple copies with varying delays are received. Like this, one is received like this, the other is received like this. So these are multipath. Then reflection also, bending of waves, bending of radio waves as they propagate through the atmosphere. These are the example. So this say car is there. There is a lamp post. Now reflection R. The horn goes here, the sound goes here, and it is reflected. So this is reflection. What about scattering? Scattering is like this. It is scattered by the lamp post, comes here. And then finally is diffraction. When it comes to the edge, it gets diffracted. Then the multipath propagation. In this we have reflection. It occurs when the signal encounters a surface that is large relative to the wavelength of the signal. So reflection occur. Diffraction occur at the edge, as we have seen in the edge of an impenetrable body that is large compared to the wavelength of radio waves. Then this scattering. It occurs when incoming signal hits an object whose size in the order of the wavelength of the signal or less. So it will just get scattered. The effect of multipath propagation is multiple copies of signals, they arrive at out of phase also, different phases. So if phases act destructively, the signal level relative to the noise declines, making detection more difficult. What about ISE, that is intersymbol interference? One or more delayed copies of the pulse may arrive at the same time as the primary pulse for subsequent bit. This is intersymbol interference. Now there are various type of fadings also. Fast fading, slow fading, flat fading, selective fading, relay fading, Riccian fading. And what about error compensation mechanism? We have forward error correction, adaptive equalization, diversity techniques. So forward error correction, the transmitters add ECC, error correcting code, to data block, and the code is a function of the data bits. And the receiver calculates this error ECC, error correcting code, from incoming data bits. So if calculated code matches incoming code, no error has occurred. If the error correcting code doesn't match, the receiver attempts to determine bits in error and try to correct it. And in adaptive equalization, what action is done? This can be applied to transmission that carry analog or digital information, both analog voice or video, digital data, digital voice or video. This is used to combat the ISI, that is inter-symbol interference. So it involves gathering dispersed symbol energy back into into the single original time interval. The technique is like this: lumped analog circuits and sophisticated digital signal processing algorithms. Then the diversity techniques, the third one. The diversity is based on the fact that individual channels experience independent fading events. This is based on the fact that the individual channels, they experience independent fading events. So space diversity, the techniques involving the physical transmission path. The frequency diversity, techniques where the signal is spread out over a large frequency bandwidth or carried out multiple frequency carriers. And time diversity, the techniques aimed at spreading the data out over time. So this was a very brief idea of antenna and propagation. Thank you so much. Take care.